guys, it's Tom. I'm back with another video with my enduring fan. The yeah, I just figured I'd nix the AC because the fan's good enough. And my new webcam is supposedly kills all the background noise, so no one's complained about it. Hey, I wanted to talk about, you know, some of you guys that are coming here, especially to live, right? You might be wondering like about medication, or hey, can I get medication there? My medication that I need to take, or whatever, or even like vitamins, right? Like vitamins, supplements, stuff like that, right? And you certainly can. Matter of fact, there's some stuff as far as medication goes. There's stuff here that you don't even need a prescription for, that you do need a prescription for in the U.S. Like actually, I take blood pressure medication, losartan, okay, and I just take 50 milligrams, the lower amount, because there's either 50 or 100. I don't know if you can go more than 100, maybe, but anyway, I just have to take 50. And actually, I checked my BP yesterday, my blood pressure, and it was like 106 over 70. So I was like, cool. And that was like right after I ate. Usually, you don't want to necessarily take it right after you eat or whatever, but so I think the exercise helps. I exercise a lot. My weight's going down a bit, and that helps, obviously, But anyway, you can get losartan here, for without a prescription. It's basically like potassium, like it's probably the least strong of all the blood pressure medications. You know what I mean? With the least side effects. I don't really notice any side effects, actually. I know a while back when a long time ago, the first medication that I was prescribed back, when I was back in the Chicago, it was like, I was like 50 when I first started taking blood pressure meds. And that doctor at that time prescribed lisinopril, which, I don't know, I found it to be like, had some side effects like coughing and just stuff like that, like not just clearing your throat, but just you all of a sudden you start coughing, man, like freaking like Jackie Gleason used to do sometimes, you know what I mean, back in the day. And but anyway, so I was on there for maybe a couple of years, or something like that. I don't know, a couple of years. Then I stopped, and then I went on. I had a different doctor actually a little bit later, and he goes, "Why don't you try losartan?" He goes, "I've never had any patients tell me about any side effects with this." And this was like a guy from Europe, a doctor in Chicago, but he was from Poland actually. So he wasn't really into that. Wasn't hooked up with all the pharmaceutical companies like some of the American doctors are. You know what I mean? They try and push certain things on you. He was just like a real doctor. No offense if you're an American doctor. I'm not saying you're all bad or anything like that, but I just say there's certainly sometimes a connection. I see all these pharmaceutical reps. I used to see them when I used to take my dad to the doctor frequently, like a couple years, the last couple of years of his life. And it's like we'd be waiting for like 45 minutes or whatever to see his doctor, waiting in the waiting room, and then some pharmaceutical rep would come in. You know what I mean? Like, oh, can I, wanting to talk to the doctor, and oh, can I leave my card? And it's like, I swear to God, it was almost like every time we were there, that happened. And also, even with the other doctor, one of my own doctors, like not the European guy, but the other guy, and I was just like, man, these guys are really trying to connect with the doctors. You know what I mean? They give them free stuff, free meds, free samples, free luncheons, free food. They're always trying to give them stuff. In exchange for what? Anyway, but anyway, there is meds, like I said, not just losartan, but there's a lot of other stuff that you can get here. Pretty much, probably anything that you are on, in the U.S. I mean, you can check, right? You have to do your own due diligence, like if you come here to visit before you come here to live, just check. Go to Mercury Drug, go to Watson's, and say, hey, do you have this stuff? I don't need it right now, but I mean, do you have it? Just check with them. you know. And if you're a senior, and a senior here is just over 60, not 65, you can get in the short line, you know, the people with disabilities and the senior/senior line. You know, you could take a number at Mercury, and it's mostly it's a shorter line. You know what I mean? And check the regular line out before you do it. And if you see like 8 people in a regular line, yeah, definitely just do the short line. But there's a lot of stuff. Sometimes you can even get antibiotics without a prescription here, depending on the pharmacy here that you go to. You know, so especially some of the smaller ones, like if it's in your neighborhood or something where you live, and they kind of know you or whatever. And maybe you had a prescription once, but you needed it again, maybe a year later for like a UTI or something like that. Because UTIs are kind of prevalent here, you know, in the Philippines. I don't know why. Maybe the hot weather. There's just more bacteria. You know what I mean? You sweat, you know, whatever, and it just happens. I mean, with Filipinos too, you know, like, but also, you can find yourself getting it, you know, if you're here for a while, you know, and you're more likely, by the way, to get a UTI if you have a prostate issue, you know, if you have like an enlarged prostate or whatever, and you know, especially some of that medication that they give you for that, it's sort of. I don't know. I don't want to get into it, but it kind of, your bladder and your prostate are kind of connected, you know, because the muscles of your bladder are relaxed from the medication, and sometimes there's an issue, and it's got some side effects. I'll just say that. I've actually, within the last week, about a week ago, I just started taking this prostate formula, you know, natural nutrient formula that I bought online. So I've been taking that, you know, and it's got like 5 ingredients. You know, it's got like saw palmetto, stinging nettle, zinc. I think there's even some vitamin C in there. And there's like 5 or 6 ingredients, but I mean, 3 of them are like the big, like pumpkin seed oil. You know, those are like some of the big things that are directly correlated to the helping your prostate. You know. And it didn't happen, by the way, with me until after I was 60. So, you know, I mean, technically I found out when I was 62, but I mean, did I have an issue before then? Probably. You know, like it could have started a little bit earlier than that, when I was still back in the U.S., you know. I didn't have as many symptoms as some guys do. You know, I wasn't pissing every hour, you know what I mean? I could sleep all night and not get up, you know, so I mean, I didn't have those like normal typical symptoms that a lot of guys have, you know. But I'll let you know how this works, man. Because I got about 2 months worth, so I'm gonna do it all and just stop the other stuff, the prescription stuff, and see what happens. So far, so good. And it's been almost a week, I think, you know. So, but yeah, the meds here, you know, and they're pretty affordable. I mean, like, for example, my Losartan, 1 month's worth is about between I'll say $6.50 USD. It's like 300 and something peso, 330 or something like that. So, you know, today's exchange rate, it's somewhere between $6 and $7. Okay, for a month. That's not bad, you know. And that's like no insurance. You know what I mean? That's just paying for it, you know. And it's generic. Always ask for generic, by the way. If you get medication here, always first ask for generic. Sometimes they might not have it, and then you're stuck or whatever, but a lot of times they do have a generic version of whatever the medication is, you know. So, now I also wanted to talk to you guys about, because you guys are probably wondering about vitamins too, right? Like, hey, can I get vitamins there? You know, like, because in the drugstores, they don't really, I mean, they have some vitamins, but they don't have like the big bottles of them like they do in the U.S., you know, everywhere, at the grocery stores, at the Walgreens, at the Costco, at the, you know what I mean? You can get them anywhere, right? Here, not so much, but if you are, there's 2 things I'm going to talk about. Like SNR, if you become an SNR member or a Landers, I've never been to Landers yet, but I've seen videos of people going there and all that, and I'm pretty sure they also have vitamins there, American vitamins. the typical ones that you'll see on the shelves in America. So that's one thing, right? And they have quite a bit of vitamins. Like they have a multiple vitamin. They have like Super C. They have like just other supplements also. That you might be interested in. There's like a whole, almost not a whole wall, but there's a pretty good sized aisle on the end at SNR that has all just nothing but sort of medicine and vitamins. So there is that that you can do. But there's also something where if you want something and you don't see it at SNR or Landers, I found a website or an app also. They also have an app where you can order in the Philippines and you can get American products, vitamins and stuff like that from America, get them delivered here. Now, they might come from a plant somewhere in Asia, like a lot of stuff does, like China, or I don't know if it comes from China, but it could come from some other Asian country, or even sometimes within the Philippines. But whatever it is, man, I ordered and the company is called Now, and guess what? They're out of Illinois. They're out of Bloomington, Illinois. That's where they're based. And I ordered 3 different products, okay? And when I ordered them, I'm going to tell you the name of the company, but let me just tell you first. When I ordered them, I expected it to take at least 2 weeks, because that's what it said. It said when I ordered it, and then it said you should get it between this date and this date, and it was about 2 weeks. So I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. Well, guess what, man? I got all 3 items like in 4 days. Like 4 days later, I got everything. Because I'm in a condo complex, so we have like a place where if you already pay for the shipping and everything, which actually I had free shipping on this order, but whatever, if you had shipping, you already pay for it up front, and then they just drop it off. There's like there's a place where packages get delivered, out right near the gate, where I live, So in other words, if you get stuff from Shopee, Lazada, or whatever, it'll go there. Now, if you still have to pay for it, they'll text you, and you'll have to go down, and the guy will be waiting for you. You know what I mean? And then you got to pay him, whatever it is for the product. And a lot of that Shopee stuff is pretty cheap. It's like, it's 171 pesos, for whatever you ordered, some 2 or 3 things or whatever, But anyway, so it's quite convenient, you know what I mean? Like, you just go out there and pick it up, and if it's already paid for and the shipping's paid for and everything, then you just go at your leisure. You don't have to run down there like, oh, the guy's there now, we gotta go pay him. But anyway, the name of this company is iHerb, or herb, right? So it's it's kind of like a small I, HERB. Okay. Check them out, especially if you're already living here or whatever, and you don't know about them yet. Check them out; they're pretty good, And the prices are reasonable. I mean, they're comparable to American prices. And if you order, I think with my order, I think it was over 3,200 pesos, which is about less than $60 worth. You got free shipping, and the shipping would normally be about 600 pesos. You know what I mean? Not dirt cheap, so it makes sense just to, if you need more than one thing, man, just stock up a little bit, because then you'll save on the shipping. And they also had a 15% off, for last month. So that was another 600 pesos, or, approximately off, So I was happy, man. I was very happy with it, They even had the probiotic 10 that I take, that I like to take every day after I eat, and stuff like that, So I highly recommend them. iHerb, and like I said, you could go to their website, and then once you do that, you could they have an app. You could download it, put it on your phone, and you could do everything on your phone if you want, And once you have to put your address in and stuff like that. So hopefully, you have some kind of address here in the Philippines, and if you're living here, because I know some areas, some small cities and provincial areas, the addresses are kind of weird, you know what I mean? And so I don't know, if you have a problem with actually having an address, you might want to get a PO box here in the Philippines or whatever. You know what I mean? If you plan on getting mail, or some kind of, it helps. You know what I mean? It's kind of nice to have an address. Okay, you don't need it a lot, but you do. Sometimes it comes in handy at certain things. So that's what I recommend, guys. iHerb. And a lot of the medication, like I said, is pretty reasonable. It's not, I mean, some of it's, more expensive, but again, think about what you'd pay in the U.S. without insurance for medication, for the same meds, so it's probably going to be less. So, all right, guys, that's about it. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. And that's about it, man. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.